my name is Alex Martin. I'm a senior here at Indiana State University. I'm majoring in applied medicine, graduating in May. So I made this workout intended for postpartum women. I just wanted to say, make sure you are consulting your physician or your doctor before doing any of these exercises. Everyone's body recovers differently, so just make sure you are doing what your body is comfortable with. In today's session, we'll be working on primarily the core muscles, hip flexors, back gluteal muscles, and also the pelvic floor muscles. If you want to add a little bit more intensity to today's workout, you can always add a resistance band. I will not be using one in any of these workouts, but I will state which exercises you can use them on and explain how to use them. And at any point in time, if you need to modify any workouts here, you can absolutely modify anything. Like I said, just make sure you're doing what your body is comfortable with and what you feel like your body can do. Today's session, every exercise will primarily be about a minute long, and then we will do about 20 to 30 minutes rest in between. So let's get to working out. Our first exercise here is going to be a warm-up. We're going to do some breathing. I'm going to sit in this seated position with my back straight. We're going to breathe in for 3 to 4 seconds through our nose. We're going to hold it there, and then we're going to breathe back out. I typically hold in for 3 to 4 seconds, hold it out there, and then breathe out for 3 to 4 seconds. So basically just kind of do whatever you're comfortable with breathing in. We don't want to go too fast or too slow, just we don't want to hyperventilate ourselves or go too slow. So just make sure you're doing whatever you're comfortable with. We're going to do this sequence of breathing for about a minute. Make sure you're breathing in, holding it, and then breathing back out. Throughout this whole process, you're just going to want to keep that back straight, keep that good posture to keep those back muscles strengthened up. This breathing is really good for healing mechanism. It helps calm that sympathetic nervous system. It helps to decrease stress. And just try to incorporate this as much as possible. Our next exercise is cat-cow. You will want to get on your hands and knees in a tabletop position. Make sure your shoulders are directly over your wrists and your hips are directly above your knees. Your back is flat and you're going to look at the floor with your neck extended straight. We'll start with cat first, making sure our chin is tucked down and our back is rounded towards the ceiling. You're going to feel a nice stretch throughout your whole back, and we're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Make sure that chin is tucked in there and your back is rounded. From here, we're going to go into our cow position. Your stance stays the same, but your back will curve down like you're pushing your belly towards the floor, and your head will look up. I extended my neck straight and looked up to the ceiling, but just make sure your back is staying curved down where your belly is pushed towards the ground. We're going to hold this for about 30 seconds, stretching those lower back muscles as well. We're going to do this sequence one more time, going from cat to cow. Again, tucking my chin and rounding my back out, feeling those lower back muscles. Again, this is just kind of a warm-up, warming up those back muscles, those core muscles, everything like that. Holding this for about 30 seconds. And then from here, we're going to go back into cow one more time. Making sure whenever you do that, you push your belly down to the floor and you look back up again. Make sure that you're keeping your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees, not extending too much. So we're just gonna make sure we're working those back muscles, strengthening those back muscles again, and keeping that core tight throughout this whole exercise. So this is about 2 minutes. We did 30 seconds of cat, then 30 seconds of cow, and then 30 seconds of cat, and then 30 seconds of cow, and then we're back to the beginning. We're done. Next, we're gonna go into bird dog. We're gonna start just how we did for cat cow, with our shoulders over our wrists and our hips over our knees. You're gonna want to start by lifting your right arm and your left leg out in front of you. We're gonna hold this for about 3 seconds, and then you're gonna crunch in, bringing that arm to that knee, and then you're gonna extend right back out. You can hold for as long as you are comfortable with, just making sure your core is tight and your back is staying neutral throughout. Make sure it is your arms and your legs are parallel to the ground. We're gonna do this side, the right arm and the left leg, for about a minute. And then we're going to make sure we do the other side. So we're going to switch to the left arm and the right leg after our minute is done. Here I am switching to my left arm and right leg. We're going to extend back out again, and then we're going to bring our elbow to our knee, making sure to hold as much as you can. We're just going to want to make sure we keep our flat back throughout this whole time and our hips level to the ground. We're making sure our arms are parallel and our legs are parallel. Make sure you're taking your time. We're not in any rush. Make sure you're doing exactly what you're comfortable with. And just keeping those core muscles really tight. Like I said, we're going to keep those core muscles tight throughout this whole thing and that back level. This is just strengthening those core muscles back up. And like I said, if you need to take a break at any time, just make sure you go back to that tabletop position and take a break for as long as you need to take a break for. We're so close to being done and taking our 20-second rest, and then we will come back for another exercise. Our rest is up. We're gonna move into leg lifts. We're gonna lay on our back, and I always put my hands under my buttocks for extra support. We're gonna lift our legs 90 degrees, and then we're gonna bring them back down, not touching our feet to the floor. You can go as fast or as slow as you would like. If you want it to feel a little bit more in those core muscles, I would bring your legs down a little bit slower than what I am doing here. We're just going to want to make sure our core is totally engaged through this whole time, really strengthening those abdominal muscles back in. We're going to do this for about a minute, making sure our feet do not touch the ground throughout this whole process. We're just going to want to make sure our legs are totally locked if you are able to lock your legs. Like I said, if you need to take a break throughout this whole process, we're just doing what our body is able to do. And our rest is coming up, and we will move into a different exercise. This is another exercise we're going to do on our back. You're going to want to make sure your feet are shoulder width apart and they are bent. I just have my arms out to the side of me, and we're going to do glute bridges. You're going to bring your hips up towards the ceiling and hold for as long as you are comfortable with. This is another exercise that you can use a resistance band on. This is the first one you will be able to use it on. If you're going to use a resistance band for this, you are going to want to put it on your thighs right above your knees, and that just adds a little bit more intensity to this exercise if you feel up for it. I just did the regular glute bridges with no intensity, and we're going to do this for about a minute here, making sure we're squeezing our glutes whenever we are lifting our hips up, and making sure we are breathing throughout this whole time. We don't want to lose that diaphragmatic breathing that we did as a warm-up. making sure we are keeping our feet flat on the ground and we are pushing through our heels this whole time. And then after this, we will take a rest for 20 seconds. From this, we are going to do another variation of a glute bridge. This is just a single leg glute bridge in the same position with your feet shoulder width apart and your knees bent. We're going to lift up our right leg and we're going to really push our hips up through that left heel. We are making sure that our core is engaged the entire time. You can hold at the top for as long as you are comfortable with, making sure we are having our core tight and our glutes squeezed this entire time. We're going to do this for about a minute, and then we are going to switch legs, and we're going to be having our right leg on the ground and having our left leg up in the air. I just had my arms out the entire time. This kind of just helps with balance. And we are getting ready to switch to our other side, making sure our stance and our feet are correctly apart. You can always tell which side is a little bit stronger here. My right leg is a little bit stronger. I'm able to push off that leg a little bit easier and lift my hip up a little bit more. With this one too, you can always add a resistance band as well. You would just keep it in the same place you would have if you were using it for the glute bridge. As well as this one, please take a break if you need to take a break. It is totally normal to just do whatever you are comfortable with. Make sure you are breathing through your nose, that deep breath that we have been doing this whole time. And our minute is almost up. Making sure you are keeping your core tight throughout this whole process. And then we will rest for 20 seconds to come back for another exercise. We made it to our last exercise, clamshells. If you're using the resistance band, it'll go in the same place as before. We're going to turn to our left side and prop ourselves up on our left arm and our legs together and knees bent. You'll slowly rise your right knee, pushing off your feet, balancing on your arm. Make sure to engage that core and squeeze your glutes the whole time just to keep your balance. You can hold at the top just for as long as you are comfortable with, making sure to totally engage that core and squeeze those glutes. That's really what's going to keep you from balancing on that arm. If you need to add a little bit less resistance, make sure if you're using the resistance band, you can always take that off. If you need to keep that hip on the ground and just totally engage those hip flexors, that is totally fine too. Like I said, just make sure you're moving your body the way that you want to move it. We're just going to switch to our right arm now, propping ourselves up on our right side. Same thing, knees bent, and we're going to just prop up and open our left leg this time. You can tell usually which side is a little bit stronger. Might be easier to prop up on your most dominant arm. You should not be leaning on your shoulder too much, so you shouldn't be feeling any pain. So if you're feeling any pain, make sure you're constantly continuing to engage that core and squeeze those glutes. You're almost done, guys. Make sure you're breathing throughout this whole exercise. We're going to do this for a minute, and then we are done. Make sure you are breathing throughout this whole exercise, and we're done. workout. I am a little sweaty, but I just wanted to tell everyone great job, and remember to always hydrate and stretch. Remember to breathe through all those exercises, breathe after. You just did a great thing, you moved your body. Consistently engage in this routine. You will experience less stress, less anxiety. Come back to it, keep doing it. I encourage you to make this a regular part of your everyday routine, and most importantly, the breathing that we did at the beginning of this workout, make sure you are incorporating that in your everyday life. If you can get literally just 15 seconds a day, just take in a deep breath and let it out. That will definitely help you. So thank you for coming to watch my workout.